Winthrop, and welcome to episode 2 of Talking Trash with Wendy. Today, our guest is Town Manager Tony.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're here to talk about the new trash regulations that the council passed on April 4th of this year. And we're also going to talk about new changes that are coming down with regard to trash pickup on July 1st. So with that, I'll pass it off to Wendy to sort of give a highlight of what was passed and what's coming down the pike.
So we all know that there are issues with our landfills and getting too much trash to them and to our incinerators. So the DEP had passed regulations on their master plan for 2030. All cities and towns in the state need to reduce their trash by 30%. So of course, Winthrop, we're trying to do the same. We're trying to fall in line with that. So the town council passed that each household in the town is allowed one bin per household. So that means you have one recycling bin and one trash bin. As of July 1st, that's what you'll be able to put to the curb. So if you have a 3-unit building, you would have 3 trash bins, 3 recycling bins. A 2-unit building, 2 trash bins, 2 recycling bins. A single-family home, 1 and 1. So then we need to talk about, well, what if I have more trash than that? So Tony, what do we do if we have more trash than that?
Well, this is the process that we developed with the council, giving it lots of thought and lots of consideration to, large bags, small bags, things like that, what other towns have done. So basically, you have to purchase overflow bags. We're selling a 30-gallon overflow bag that Wendy's going to put up right here. It's going to look like this, maybe a different color with the, Winthrop logo on it. So this bag will be able to hold 2 normal-sized kitchen trash bags, and that can be put out on the street in another barrel. So you would take an additional 3rd barrel that you would own privately, something with a lid, and put your overflow bags in that. One of the things that will not be allowed is you will not be able to put the trash bags out and just set them down next to your existing trash bin that has your regular household trash in it. It has to be in a barrel. And that has to do for a lot of reasons. One, for to be picked up by Capital. It's one of their requirements. And also, we don't want to have trash just sitting out, even overnight or even in the yard. I mean, we also have a rodent problem in town, as many of us in surrounding towns do. So we have to minimize how much trash we leave out. And the trash that's left out on maybe the side of a building and out on the streets is definitely a source of where the rats get their food and things like that. So that's one of the main reasons. So it has to be in a container. We understand this is going to be a learning process, so as we go through this, if you leave the trash bag out sitting next to your trash barrel, Capital has been instructed not to pick it up. I know it's going to be inconvenient, but we have to get an improved barrel. It can be one of those gray tough buckets. It can be a similar barrel to the one we give you. You can buy them at Home Depot or any hardware store with a lid and the wheels to make it easy to take out, but it has to be in another barrel, and then it can be placed out on the curb. These bags will be available for sale in several retail locations around town. We'll have a list out shortly over the next 2 to 3 weeks. And then once you buy them, you need to buy them in little small rolls of 5. So you'll have to the minimum purchase is 5 bags, $3 a bag, so you'll have to spend $15, and that will get you 5 bags, and however long that lasts you. Maybe you only need an overflow bag once a month, but whatever you need, and then you can repurchase more, as you go, and they'll be readily available year-round.
And we're requiring a lid on those bins, right? On your personal bin?
Absolutely, I said that. Yeah, you have to have a lid.
And so that's really important. The other thing that we would really appreciate if folks would do with their existing bins is put their address on it. So if you live at 217 Winthrop Street, your bin should say 217 Winthrop Street on the trash bin, so that if, just in case, the wind blows, it goes down the street, that'll help us. And you should do the same with your private bin as well. So in terms of that, when we were just talking about leaving stuff on the curb, that's a no-no.
Right.
So, and Capital's going to help with compliance for that.
Yep.
But the other thing that we have in town that folks may or may not be aware of is something called an oops tag.
Yes.
So it's not a violation. So
right.
How do you feel the oops tag is working, and how should people, when they get one, what's the best thing that they can do for the next step?
Well, the oops tag was meant to be educational, right? It's meant to let people know why we're doing what we're doing, but also this is how we need it done moving forward. There are certain things we can and can't do. As you talked about, DEP lays out a lot of rules and things like that. But the oops tag is meant to not be punitive, but meant to remind people how to fix it. We don't want to get to a violation. It's more of a warning, right? Okay, we understand why you did this, but here's why we need you to do it this way and then it's in compliance with our trash contract. Because we have very specific rules in our trash contract with Capital, and that's one of the reasons why we had to move to this kind of a process, and the bags and the pay-as-you-throw, because as you said, we have to get our trash down, we need to recycle more, and reduce our tonnage in our trash. And that kind of leads into the next piece of that, which would be, one of the greatest contributors to weight in our trash and into our tonnage is food waste.
100%.
And what many people, we talk about things people don't know, we have, and if you can give a little bit of update on that, we do have a compost program available to us, and why don't you give a little information on what that involves?
So Black Earth Compost has worked with the town to come up with curbside pickup. They're here in town every Friday. Right now it's roughly $70 per 6 months. The more people who join, the lower the price is.
Right.
I can tell you that in my family of 6 to 8 people, roughly 5 nights a week with dinner, in the 2 years that I've been a part of this program, I'm almost at 900 pounds. So myself, I've almost taken 900 pounds out of the trash waste. And that reduces not only our tonnage, but the greenhouse gases later on down the road as well. So if you want to get in touch with Black Earth, it is on the town website, but you can also put in Black Earth and it'll come right up. Let them know you're in Winthrop and they'll help you get signed up.
Now, in a lot of rural areas, obviously people will compost in their own backyard, but given the fact that we're more of an urban environment, a little tighter residential areas, it's tough to do it in your backyard, right? So that's why companies because then it contributes to what we talked about before with the rodent problem and things like that, which is why a company like Black Earth is so important. But I think we should talk a little bit about what Black Earth does with it, right? I mean, they take it and they use it, and it gets reused.
It gets reused. So Black Earth takes all of our gunk,
Food waste,
our food waste, all the things that, everything from bones and any kind of food scraps. They then take it to their compost facility. They compost it. You, as a person who participates, gets free compost in the spring, which is fantastic. And you can get it right at Woodside.
Yeah.
They have an agreement with Woodside Hardware to pick it
Oh,
up.
yeah.
So there's some really fantastic opportunities. There are some folks who do choose to compost in town.
Right.
And those are people usually who really understand personal composting aside from, doing a company
Well, I've seen it done in the yard with a lid and a container
Yeah.
and something that latches securely and things like that. So yeah.
So, composting is one of the ways that we can reduce one of the largest, food waste is one of the largest things that can be easily taken out of the waste stream, just like textiles.
Right.
Textiles is another thing that the DEP banned from keeping in trash. No form of textiles.
Right.
A curtain, shirts, one sock with a hole in it. Everything from your home that's a textile, you can bring to one of the town bins. They're really conveniently located. We have them at the Walden Street basketball courts. We have them at the public landing, and then one down by the Gorman Fort Bank School by the DPW yard. People are having a little misconception, though. They think that that all just gets wasted. What they didn't realize is the company that we're working with, CMRK, they're sorting through everything. And if there's an article of clothing that has a second life, that's getting donated for use to Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Okay.
Everything else is being turned into carpet fiber or insulation. Really, so that we chose that company specifically for the amount that they get rid of. So it's fantastic ways we can get out.
A lot of people think, and I mean, I used to think the same thing. A lot of people think those clothing bins, they're just a source for, savers and places like that to get clothes. But a lot of companies like this company actually donates them to charities, and they get reused by people that need them. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that sort of leads into the other thing, which is what we talked about that I think it was in November, the mandatory mattress, recycling, which will lead into bulk items too. But, there's a cost to get rid of mattresses now, and you want to go a little bit into what that is.
So we have an agreement with Capital Waste because they're our hauler.
Right.
They've agreed to pick up any mattress and box spring from all residences. You do not have to be participating in the town trash to have your mattress or box spring picked up.
Right.
So you call Capital, 617-569-1718, to have your mattress or box spring picked up. And they have their set pricing. Typically it's $75 for the first piece and $45 for the second.
Right.
They can only pick up 3, and it's done twice a month. So they take the payment and they do the scheduling.
So a mattress and box spring is about $120 to get rid of.
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And there are other companies that you could contact privately.
Right.
But they're all roughly running the same dollar amount.
Some of them are even more.
Some of
'cause
them are
we've
even-
looked into
yeah.
that, which is why we went with Capital. Capital actually gave us the best deal on that, and we did do some homework on that to see if we could get a lower price for the residents. But that just, Capital had the best deal on that. Now, obviously, we do the all bulk items. Everybody knows many people know you can go online and get the bulk stickers. You put the item out on the curb, you put a bulk sticker on it. Currently, that cost is $5, but like everything else, we've seen increases in our fees to get rid of those bulk items. So, in line with other communities, and actually still even a little less than a lot of communities, those fees are being raised to $10 per sticker starting July 1. So it'll be $10 per sticker to get rid of items on the curb. Whether it's an old desk or a chair or whatever, you buy the bulk sticker item, you place it on the item, put it out the day your trash pickup, and they'll take it.
Yeah, it's anything over 23 inches tall and 30 inches wide.
Right.
And then, of course, things like refrigerators, air conditioners, those are an additional cost.
Right.
But they're all available online. You can make the order
Yep.
all at once and then just hit the town website and you can buy those up and
Right.
get your stuff out.
And obviously, with our society and the way things go with Facebook Marketplace and things like that, and other sort of shopping things that are available to us online, we all know there's the free-for-all sites, right? So you got something in your garage, you want to get rid of it, it can go to another family in Winthrop or a local community that needs it. But those items need to not be placed on the sidewalk. It's a problem not only here in Winthrop, but around the Commonwealth. Those have to be placed on your property. So whether it's, you got a little piece of land off the sidewalk or up on your front yard, if you're putting something out for somebody to come pick up, which is great, it gets recycled and somebody else has a need for it, that's fantastic. But it's got to be on your property. We can't, clutter the sidewalks with stuff that you're giving away. Sometimes it might take somebody, we give 48 hours for that sort of stuff, and that certainly is enough time for somebody to come pick it up, but it's got to be on your property.
Right. And there are oops tags that go out for that, and if we
Right.
see something that's there beyond, violations or fees might be attached,
Right.
but it's just best to keep it on your property and get rid of it within 48 hours.
Yep. One of the other things with the oops tags and the violations, we sort of strayed off of that a little bit, but we just want to point out that, illegal dumping, putting trash in another person's bin, taking it downtown to dump it, all of that stuff's not going to be allowed. We'll be monitoring that. We will track it back to the people that do that eventually. So we don't want to have to do those things, but, we just want to remind everybody, we have lots of ways to get rid of your trash properly, with the overflow bags, having a simple trash can with a lid above and beyond, if you have things that you get rid of. Some people might get rid of, more bags per week than they think, and then they'll have an opportunity, as you'll see once we put out the fee schedule for this. As everybody knows, you get billed $160 for your trash fee, which gets you the, trash bin and the recycling bin every year. But also, we have available, if somebody, there'll be a price point, we haven't set that yet, but we're close. It'll be more than 160, but you'll have a point to buy an additional barrel, maybe a full barrel, or the half barrels, which I believe are 34 gallons or 32 gallons?
34 gallons.
34 gallons will be a half barrel. You'll have an opportunity to buy one of them for obviously less of a cost. So if you don't want to have to worry about buying bags all the time, you'll have that ability to do that. The goal is just to keep the sidewalks neat, keep the trash secure, and have proper pickup. So that's the end game with regard to this new trash policy that was passed by the council, the town council.
So when we were just talking about the overflow and the different kinds of bins and things, we know that the town council passed some holidays.
Right.
So that there would be, let's say, after the 4th of July. So we won't
Yes.
be starting, the program will start July 1st.
Yep.
But you won't have to have overflow bags for the first week
Right,
of
because of the July
July.
4th holiday,
Because of the July 4th holiday. So there'll be a list of those holidays, but they're pretty simple. Think about it: Labor Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas, 4th
Right.
of July.
Yep.
And if need be, Director Calla or you can set another date. Let's say we have some kind of crazy storm and we have
Right,
a couple
exactly.
of days.
Yep.
So as necessary, we'll add them. So those are freebies. You don't need bags, extra overflow bags on those holiday weeks,
Right.
which is great.
And that kind of leads into billing, right?
Right.
So one of the things that, we, obviously people got just recently in the last, couple of months paid your trash bill, the $160. We are going to mix that up a little bit in the coming year, because obviously waiting this long in the year doesn't help for, cash and, revenues and bills. So we're going to send we're going to split the bill up and send it out, twice a year. The first bill will go out around the middle of July. So you'll get a bill in July, first of the year, for the $80. for this upcoming year, and then you'll get another bill for the second half of that bill, the remaining $80 in January. So it'll be middle of July, middle of January, and then the due date's within 30 days of that. So I just wanted to let everybody know. So when you get the first bill, there'll be the total $160 on there listing as the fee, but it'll also say amount due $80 currently, and it'll list the date it's due by. And then you'll get another bill in January for the balance, and then you go from there. And so
included with that bill.
Yep.
Is probably one of the most important pieces of paper besides paying the bill itself. It's our solid waste and recycling kind of best practices.
Yep.
And we put this in there, and it has everything possible. It's double-sided. It has all the information that you could possibly need about trash, recycling. And it also has the address that the state gives us to help people understand where certain things need to go in the trash.
Right.
So if you're uncertain, it's called Recycle Smart.
Okay.
And it's something the DP's put out. So if, let's say, I wanted to recycle a piece of, wallboard.
Right.
If I didn't know what to do with it, I go on to recyclesmartma.org, put that in there, and it tells me locations that will accept it. Can it go in regular trash?
Right.
What type of waste it's considered. So when people have questions on those best practices, they don't even have to call us.
Right.
They can go right on their computer, and the state has helped them find a way to take care of those kind of things.
Okay.
So it's fantastic.
Now, one thing, and it's probably more from my own knowledge, but I know we talked about bulk items like refrigerators, washers, dryers, those heavy metal things. Is there fees for like gas grills and things like that? Will they pick up that for a charge as well?
Yep.
I mean,
Those
because
are
obviously
under-
the other alternative is going to a metal surplus scrap metal site in Everett or somewhere like
Right,
that. But-
Everett, Chelsea, they have
Yeah.
them. And there are some folks who drive around town.
Right. For the scrap metal.
For the scrap metal. However, you can get your gas grill. It's listed on the town
So there is
website
for an
under the
additional
bulk.
fee, they'll
Yep.
pick it up. Okay.
Yep, exactly.
All right, good. Now, one of the other things that you put into place, and it came about really because we noticed that, our library has, which is a great resource, but, they have to update their collection, so they, go through and purge some of the older books or books that aren't checked out as much, and then those books need a home to go to. So we said, all right, well, that's obviously adding to our tonnage, and maybe, want to recycle those books.
Right.
And people can, might want to read them, and, they can get donated. So to that end, why don't you talk about a couple of new bins that we have around town?
So we got bins.
Right.
One is right behind Town Hall.
Right.
The one that's behind Town Hall also helps the library quite a bit.
Correct.
However, before we get into that, don't forget, Bookends is there. And so the library gladly takes donations
Right.
as well of books that might be in better shape.
Yeah.
But this is for those kind of books that you can't.
Right.
No one wants your philosophy textbook from college.
Yes.
And those can't be recycled in regular recycling.
Right.
You would have to take the book apart completely, take the binding off, and then take each page out of the book.
Right.
Nobody's doing that. So having those bins, we have one behind Town Hall, and then we put one over on the Payson Street side by the ball fields behind the high school, middle school.
Right.
Which is another perfect location between the senior center and the high school, middle school for books. Those books get sorted. Again, if there's something that can be reused, it's donated.
Right.
Otherwise, then it's turned back into paper goods.
Okay.
So it's fantastic. And
All right.
it takes, that is helping the tonnage.
Oh, huge. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big savings. So basically what you're saying is the older books that aren't any good anymore and old textbooks, but your nice Jack Reacher novels and things like that, you want to donate those because people want to read them. So,
Right.
Okay. Got it.
Exactly.
All right.
So we have the book bins. The other thing that people get confused about in terms of recycling is what they can and can't put in their bin.
Right.
We talked about that with Recycle Smart.
Yep.
The other thing is, when in doubt, throw it out. If you think that the book should be recycled and it can't be, put it in the trash.
Yeah.
I'd rather our contamination levels go down in recycling.
Right.
So as we're all learning the new processes and how
Yep.
to do the different things, there's going to be mistakes that happen, but I think we need to better pay attention than having an entire load rejected.
Right.
And which is one of the things we're finding, people
Yeah.
getting it left on the curb, or our truck gets to the hauler gets to
Yeah.
the recycling center, and they're like, we can't take it.
And just so everybody knows, in the trash business, we get graded. People might not realize that. It's something I learned, in this business 15 years, is every community gets graded. You get graded by the level of, I hate to say it, but the cleanliness of your trash, and the level of, how easily sortable your recycling is. I've actually toured the JRM has that facility out on Route 1.
Greenworks.
Yeah, Greenworks. So I've toured that facility, and you'd be amazed at the things like, and it's I don't know why Poland Spring still does it, but like even those little wrappers on the Poland Spring bottles, great to recycle them, but those wrappers tend to get in the system and gum up the works. And, it's really important to make sure that, these sorting facilities are great, but if there's a lot of stuff that's not supposed to be there, it ends up costing them more money, more downtime, and higher recycling costs, which, as we all know, we've paid more since, China and other countries have stopped taking our recyclables. Our increased costs to get rid of the recyclables is, certainly more substantial than trash right now.
It is.
But that's important. And, I guess, and you may know, but, where do we finally land on pizza boxes, right? You've always heard that, to the point where people put the liners in there to absorb the grease. Like, if you get a little grease on a pizza box, can you still recycle it?
DEP says pizza boxes are 100% recyclable if.
Right.
So if you get a super meat pizza,
Yeah.
and when you touch the bottom, you see the grease on your hand, that's the bottom's not recyclable, but the top half of the box
Okay.
is. So a little bit of grease, not a problem. Take out the liner, take out the little plastic thing that they
Yeah,
stick
yeah.
in there to keep the box from, going down.
Okay.
Throw that part in the trash. Pizza boxes in Massachusetts, recyclable.
Most of the pizza places have caught on, so they put the little round
Yep.
liners underneath, so it's it does, unless it's a super greasy pizza, it does
Yeah.
save it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. I'm trying to think what else we didn't really talk about.
Cardboard boxes.
Yes. What do we want to talk about those?
So when you get a giant Amazon delivery
Yes.
and you just take those whole boxes and stick them on the curb, that's a no-no. That's Oh, I do this with the kids when I go to the schools. This is a recycling no-no.
So they need to be collapsed.
They need to, if you flatten them, keep one,
Yeah.
flatten them out, stack them in. It's called nesting. That's
Okay.
the term,
Okay.
that's the lingo in trash world. You want to nest them. Then take that box and put it in between your trash and recycling bins so they don't blow down the street.
Right.
Try and keep them dry. If it was a, really pouring torrential rain, you really shouldn't put the cardboard out.
Right.
Or any of your bulk items that are soft,
Yes.
like a sofa or what have you. So, but nesting boxes
Okay.
saves room in your recycling bin.
Yep.
Crush down a water bottle. Crush down
Yeah.
your soda bottles. Deflate them. Put the little lids back on. Same thing with glass jars. When you get that pickle jar,
Right.
rinse it, put the cap back on.
Yep.
You can't recycle the caps unless they're on the item. So, we're learning new things, and as the facilities, the MRFs,
Right.
all the places that sort all of that recycling, they have new steps, and once they figure out something new, they tell us, and then we
Yeah.
have to tell all of you. Black plastic is a no-no. So all of us who get our takeout containers,
Now, we talk about the takeout containers, but what about black plastic bags? Are they still allowed? Because you see those
there are
things
no
sold.
plastic bags that can be recycled in Massachusetts.
I get that, but people can still use black trash bags.
Right,
Yeah.
but not in your recycling bin.
Right, exactly.
Because our
Okay.
recycling bins, everything's free-flowing. They
Got it.
like to swim in the barrel, as I tell all the
Yes.
kids. You want them free-flowing. You don't want them contained in a bag.
Right.
But like a takeout container, the darker the plastic, because the way the recycling machines are, they use light to reflect.
Yeah.
So the top half of a takeout container, completely recyclable. It's clear plastic, it's white.
Right.
The bottoms have to be
But
in the
that's going to
trash.
take a little while, as we've seen even here in Winthrop. That's going to take a little while to shake out because a lot of the
Right,
restaurants have them
but we
stockpiled.
can not put them in.
No, I
you
get
know?
that. Right, you just throw them away in
exactly.
normal trash,
Throw
which is
them away.
bad. But yeah. Now, that's one of the things. So, so we see a lot of repairs, right? We see a lot of people, whether it's lids or my trash can's broken or the wheels, whatnot. But we tend to see it on the recycling bins more so than the trash bins. So, everybody knows Capital's got the machine. They pull up, they lift up your trash bin, they dump it. Well, the trash bags slide right out, right? The trash bins are easy. They don't have to bang it. But that gets into what Wendy was talking about, free flowing in the thing. When you're putting in cardboard, remember, like if you have to jam it in there and it's barely moving, well, it's not going to come out on the other end when you take it out of the truck. So the guy ends up having, or the person, sorry, ends up having to beat the bin a few times, and that vibration and that sort of wear and tear, over time will, damage your recycling bin. So keep that in mind when you're packing it. Try to maybe keep the the cardboard, like you said, nest it, put it in another box off to the side. And now that's allowed, right? We talk about things outside the container with the cardboard.
Cardboard alone.
Alone, okay, or recycling
Cardboard
day.
alone. And the other thing with that, as you mentioned, they are lifted.
Right,
And so when they're lifted and their parts may break.
right.
As that lid might
Oh, that'll
pop
happen
off.
eventually, but the more times they have to slam it.
Right.
it's
So,
gonna get-
but
yeah.
if they run into that situation, they can go to See Click Fix on the
Right.
town website, report it. They can call down to the DPW,
Right.
617-846-1341,
Right.
and ask for that to be repaired. And we
Sure.
are more than happy, within 5 to 7 days to get that repaired or replaced.
Right. Now, as we're talking about cardboard boxes and things that get delivered to our house, here comes the big question that no one has a good answer to, at least in my opinion, and that's styrofoam. Where do we go with styrofoam? I mean, I know a lot of people, I hate to say it, you bag it and you throw it away, but I mean, they do have, I've seen other towns do it where they have styrofoam recycling days, but that day seems to the trucks get filled up in an hour,
They do.
I mean, and so what's the long-term, I guess, prognosis for that, or what do we look to do?
So it's on my list.
Yeah.
I have trash dreams,
Right.
recycling dreams
Okay.
for Winthrop.
Sure.
Recycling Wendy, Trash Queen has these ideas.
Okay.
Love to find a way at some point to find a place where we can drop off styrofoam and have it collected on a weekly basis.
Right.
Have boxes, not be on our curbs. Find a bin. Get it so that we have a central location,
Yeah.
everyone can drop their box stuff, like that kind of thing. So we're only going on year 3.
No, I get it.
As
Yeah.
having this department.
Yep.
And you're almost hitting year 1.
I just did.
Being here in town,
Today
right?
is actually
Today's your
my
anniversary.
1-year anniversary. Yeah.
So, we're making bigger strides, and,
Right.
I call it baby steps make big change.
Right.
And that's kind of the goal with the solid waste and recycling department with the town. Baby steps are going to make the big change.
Okay.
And we've had a lot of support as a department, and the DPW is thankful for people trying really hard to do the right thing. And I'm more than happy to take calls.
Right.
Anytime there's a question or, you're not sure or you have a complaint, I'll even listen to those. More than happy. The guys we have on the trucks right now with Capital, they're killing it. They are trying really hard to.
They do a great job.
Yeah, so, I'm really pleased and grateful.
Right.
Really grateful for everyone trying to recycle more, use less,
Right.
and share more instead of it going in the trash.
Oh, without a doubt. And we're not perfect. So, i.e., a classic example of that is what happened over the weekend. We had a mix-up with the leaf pickup, right? Everyone puts their leaves out. We have, technology, right? So we had a leaf pickup scheduled, and then we had pouring rain Saturday. But unfortunately, nobody showed up Saturday. It was a miscommunication, and but we did schedule it, I think, for this week, right?
Today.
Today, actually, yeah. So we apologize for that. I mean, when you make a mistake, you own it. So that was on us. Like, that was a lack of coordination with Capital, and that got missed. So we apologize for that. It won't happen in the future. But with that, it's something, we own it when we do it, and we apologize for that, mix up in the fact that everybody put their stuff out and it didn't get picked up till a few days later. Obviously, things got wet, so it's going to make the pickup a little harder, but, Capital said they would take care of it for us. So, and with that, I think that wraps up our trash talk episode, right?
Talking trash.
Talking trash, sorry. Yeah. Talking trash, yeah.
We're trash talking with Wendy.
Okay.
I would love to have you back again.
I would love to come back again. I think we need to continue to get this message out and continue with the education. And we realize that this is, makes things a little harder. We realize that, it's more of a nuisance now. I have to have overflow bags. But in the end goal here is to reduce our tonnage. The end goal is to make it safer, keep our rodent population down. These are all things we're gearing towards. I mean, we've got we're 1.6 square mile peninsula. We all live in close proximity to each other, so we have to make sure that we, take these steps to protect everybody and make sure our trash is picked up safely, and also try to reduce our tonnage load over time. So.
Right, and that saves the town money.
Yep.
But bigger for me is just because you throw it out, it doesn't go away.
Right.
When we throw it out, it's not gone. So, we need to remember that eventually there's going to be nowhere left for it to go, and we're running into that in Massachusetts. So, before you buy it, if you don't really need it, try and see if someone has it, borrow it, that kind of thing. I'm concerned about the bottom line. I hate to have anyone pay more money for, curbside service or any of that, but at the same time, there's only one planet.
Right.
And when you throw it away, it doesn't go away.
Yep.
So, and that's one of my favorite trash talk lines.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And
course.
thank you, Winthrop. We're looking forward to having more of these shows. And if you have any questions, feel free to call the DPW, as Wendy said, or feel free to call my office, and we'll certainly be happy to talk about it. Thank you very much.